right? So like the way the book, right, the way the book of Deuteronomy and Joshua presents kind of this whole thing is that what Yahweh says is this little bit of real estate, right? This little square of land, its purpose is for my glory. That is its purpose. And what he tells the Israelites is, if you don't glorify me, you're not going to get right. You're gonna lose your promised land privileges, right? This highlights the very thing that's unusual about the Old Testament, right? Is the fact that Yahweh provides explanations for his behavior, right? It's totally unlike any other writings from any other cultures about any other type of God who was worshipped, right? It's like, right. So like, it's like when you read ancient Near Eastern documents, you get the impression like gods aren't God, right? The conception of deities is that they're not obliged to explain themselves to anyone, right? Like that's kind of the whole point, right? The whole point is that they're gods, right? But not so with Yahweh, right? Yahweh is different. Um, Yahweh, from the perspective of the narrative of the Old Testament, Yahweh does have the moral authority to revoke life, right? Um,
Yeah.
but Yahweh also explains himself, right? Which is which is again is just remarkable, right? And I would venture to say, right, like if we were to rewind back in time, right, and like if we were to live in the ancient world, and if you right, this would be a like I think this would be a pretty compelling and astonishing message, right? Of like, well, sure, yeah, Yahweh can kill people, but he doesn't just do it on a whim. That's not Yahweh's character, right? Um, right? We might say that I realize that there are certain people who have moral right. There are plenty of people who have moral problems with the death penalty, right? But it's not like right. But what I'm saying is like we as humans, right? We do in fact kind of operate the same way, right? Like we as humans say you can't. It's not okay to just kill anyone you want to, right? Like if you're gonna take a life, there has to be some kind of just reason for it, right? Like even in the Old Testament itself, right? You can see the Israelites themselves grappling with this notion of violence and the moral ambiguity of it. So this is one of the things I will bring out when we get to Chronicles. Like, so the chronistic history, which is a retelling of the story, like after the exile, they retell the story again. And if you do a systematic study of like violence in these books, like it is very clear in Chronicles that a lot of this rhetoric is toned down, right? It's like the Israelites have a very different way of telling the story once they themselves have gone through the judgment of Yahweh, right?